Meanwhile, federal investigators have released new details about a deadly toxic gas release at the Woodland Pulp Mill in Baileyville that killed 2 young engineers and exposed 10 others earlier this year. Sierra Dubois is in studio with more on that report.
The U.S. Chemical Safety Board, known as the CSB, says the workers were inside the Kraft Mill building when highly toxic hydrogen sulfide gas escaped into their work area. Hydrogen sulfide is considered immediately dangerous to life and health at 100 parts per million. Investigators say the 2 workers were likely exposed to more than 500 parts per million. The CSB says the gas formed inside a waste piping system called an acid sewer when sulfuric acid mixed with high pH process fluids containing sulfur compounds during shutdown operations. A pH probe downstream detected high pH and automatically increased acid flow, while liquid and chemicals backed up in a section of pipe that flows upward, slowing how fast readings changed. Around 11:40 a.m., investigators say the bleach plant scrubber fan was turned off as part of the shutdown, meaning toxic gas was no longer being pulled into the scrubber system to be treated. The CSB says the gas moved through connected equipment and leaked into the building through holes, open drains, and unsealed openings, creating what investigators call a hydrogen sulfide release zone. The 2 employees, 20-year-old Casey Malcolm and 26-year-old Alan Hornberger, were on the 2nd floor, likely working on an unrelated equipment drawing project. CSB Chair Steve Owens says, quote, "The 2 young employees who died were not provided with personal hydrogen sulfide monitors, and there were no hydrogen sulfide detectors installed in the building," unquote. Investigators also say the company had no system to track who was in the building, and the 2 workers were not found until hours after the release ended.
The CSB investigation is ongoing and will later include findings and recommendations, but the agency does not issue fines. You can view the preliminary report on our website or our mobile app. You'll also find a statement from the attorney who represents the families of the victims. Woodland Pulp Mill representatives tell WABI they are aware of the CSB report and are reviewing it. Due to other related investigations currently pending, they say they will not provide any further comment.